We're back with Johanna Chua, Chief Economist, Asia Pac at Citi, still with us up in our studios in Hong Kong. Johanna, if we could talk about Indonesia, we've got apparently President Obama finally is going to make it to Indonesia. That trip delayed once, likely to hit town probably mid-month or so. Ahead of that, though, of course, we've got the central bank meeting this week. Paint us a picture right now. What you see happening on the monetary policy front, the situation with inflation there, and at a macro perspective, they finally got a new finance minister. How is that position shaping up?
Well, at the moment, if you look at the inflationary trends in Indonesia, it's been relatively benign. For most months have been a negative surprise, although we had a little bit of a positive surprise recently. And the coming up number, we're expecting about 4.2% year-on-year headline inflation, or about 0.3% month-on-month, largely on the reversal of some of the very benign food prices. But that still takes inflation at the low end of BI's inflation target of about 4 to 6%. So I think at this point, given where trends are, I don't really see any pressure for BI to raise interest rates anytime soon. In fact, if anything, we actually expect interest rates in Indonesia probably will be unchanged for the rest of the year and might have an initial rate hike sometime in the first quarter of 2011.
Johanna, what about
that's right, 2011.
Impact of currency appreciation in the Indonesia's case for the IDR, and I guess if you could extend it out for the region as a whole, isn't that going to take a dent, or make a dent rather, on export competitiveness?
Well, actually, if you look at the month of May, actually IDR was a little bit weaker, and that's probably going to have a little bit of a marginal knock-on impact on headline inflation, but not significantly. Now, in terms of exports performance, if you look at Indonesia's exports, it's actually been very, very strong. In fact, when we looked at exports recently across all of Asia on a seasonal adjusted basis, we compared to pre-crisis level, Indonesia is actually one of the outperformers. And a lot of that is really driven by sort of commodity-related exports. So to a certain extent, that commodity exports have pretty high profit margins and are less sensitive to currency appreciation. I don't really see a huge concern from that standpoint for Indonesia's case.
It's curious when you talk about the export picture, and we were talking about that with Korea as well today. What do the numbers look like further down the track, though?
Well, I think pretty much a lot of the export numbers that we see, which have been very strong, especially fourth quarter and first quarter this year, probably may start tapering off, given if we do see some signs of potential weaknesses on the demand from Europe, given what's happening in the sovereign debt issues, and also that some of the inventory restocking cycle that has been going on now in the developed markets since last year, late last year, probably is going through a more mature phase. And therefore, some of the restocking there might sort of slow down. I think that's to be expected.
Yeah,
but I don't expect a very, very sharp pullback.
Okay, great to have you with us. Thanks for joining us, Johanna Chua, joining us here on Squawk Box today.